Well, I was just proud of the group the way they bounced back. I told them last week I was the one that lost the game. I put too much defense in, confused them, didn't play very well. Told them I wouldn't do that till again. So it's the next ball game. Now we got Texas Tech going forward.
Coach, do you consider yourself back in the conference title hunt?
I'm not even thinking about it. I didn't think about it before. Last week, the first 2 weeks ago, I had Oklahoma, and then I had Baylor, and now I had Oklahoma State, and now I got Tech. I mean, I think all of us, if you're not watching the scores, as close as what every team is, my advice to anybody would be just try to win the game that you're playing and don't worry about anything else. Because you get West Virginia wins, you get Kansas State wins. I mean, to be honest with you, you got to hold home base. You got to win at home. It's hard to win on the road. And there's a lot of good football teams in this league, and we've got 6 games left. 6 games left, and all 6 of them capable of playing very well. So.
Did you let the team know that Baylor and Oklahoma had lost?
Yes, I told them we knew that basically before we went out. So.
Gary, at what point of last week did you know your team would bounce back well?
Sunday. Like I said on my Tuesday press conference, I told them they practiced better on Sunday after the Baylor game than they practiced after the Oklahoma win.
Gary, who are the team leaders who made sure that one loss didn't become 2?
You know, I think it's a bunch of guys. You know, they paddled a little bit, but they practiced. I think, you know, the thing is they knew they were a lot better. Like I told them, it was my fault. Defensively, I should have put them in a better position to be able to do things. It's my job to stop people, and I didn't. I told them even in pregame this morning that wouldn't happen again. So, got to get ready to play. You know, we said from the beginning of the week, and we had, and this goes for the rest of the year, you got to play in the red zone. Everybody can move the football in this league. Everybody can move the football. And so how you play in the red zone, and you want to be able to make or kick field goals, and I thought we did. Offensively, you know, we got a couple breaks. You know, a couple of you went, oh, and then they were touchdowns, but you could have been intercepted. You know, those kind of, they were on our side, so there was kind of a lull here in the second quarter, like you want to get it all over with, where they were driving, we weren't holding the ball, and I thought we gained a lot of confidence by making them kick the field goal. That third one, we just went to 9.
What's it say about your defense to hold Oklahoma State without a touchdown?
Well, I mean, in this league, it's hard to do that. Whether it's Oklahoma State or anybody, they're just good at what they do. And those two, their outside wideouts are really good. We had to change up coverages. I thought we did a good job with that. I'm sure they were very confident, you know, after watching how we played a week ago. We changed up how we played technique on the outside. Helped us a little bit. They weren't necessarily happy with it at the beginning of the week, but I bet you if you talk to them now, they'd be a lot happier. So. But you got to give Trayvon credit. You know, he throws the one screen. They had a zone blitz on, and they dropped the lineman out, and he throws it to him on a wide receiver screen. And outside of that, I did a great job again. The attribute that he has that causes you a lot of problems is he can beat you with his feet. And you know, it's when you're not open, and that creates space for other people once he starts running. And you know, that's why I've been through the years. I've been a Trayvon fan. I've been defending him in practice for 3 years. So, you know, we just got to keep playing. You got a very high-powered offense next week in Texas Tech. They gave West Virginia all they wanted, leading most of the game. They just beat Baylor. I think they won today. They have an opportunity to get back. So for us, we got to get ready to play. There's no weeks off. I think that's the thing you find out about this league and watching every ball game and with as much parity and as close as the talent level is, those 5 plays were a big deal. Getting a touchdown call back or missing a field goal or not calling the right 4th down, or 3rd down call, all those things in this league in the next 6 weeks are going to be real interesting, to be honest with you.
How did those 5 plays, or the 3 plays early on, a 5-play span, where you kind of blew the game open, how did that set the tone and kind of put last week behind?
I don't know if it did. You know, I didn't even think about it. All I was thinking about is, I mean, I gave up 21 points in the last 6 minutes, so I was more worried about playing until the last second ticked off the clock. In this league, that's what you got to do. I mean, it's just part of it. Everybody's got good players. Everybody does.
When's the last time you played this completed game, both sides of the ball?
I don't know, probably Minnesota.
Yeah.
Did they win today?
Yeah.
Yes.
So they're 6-1.
Yeah.
So
Coach, you ever been up 28 to 9 at half with 9 minutes of time of possession?
and we were down time of possession.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I knew we were. I was the one calling the defenses. Trust me, I knew every second of it.
So you rooting for Minnesota?
Well, yeah, well, I root for Minnesota anyway because of Jerry Kill and I are good friends, but I mean, I'm rooting for Minnesota also because I know everything he had to go through when he got there, everything he's done to this point to get there, and then, you know, next year we got to play him, so for 3 hours I got to be not happy with him. So, but right now I'm happy. I'm fired up, and every time he wins, it does more for us. So he just needs to keep winning.
Today, did Trayvon find the right balance between running, but then also staying in the pocket when he needed to stay in?
You know, I thought he stayed in the pocket too much early. And he had one time, I thought 2 times when he threw down the field that he could have got first downs if he would have kept, and the thing I like best today is he didn't try to become a running back. When he got to where he got to what he needed to have, then he got down. He got out of bounds and he got down. And you'll survive and play a lot more football games in this league if you'll go do that.
I mean, you said right there, did he look more like a quarterback than maybe he has in games past?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, it's always looked like a quarterback to me. You guys are always the one that have an opinion about all the rest of that stuff. So, I mean, all I know is he's one of the top 7 total yardage guys in the nation. I probably believe that he probably went up today. So, yeah.
Do you believe you're the best team in the Big 12 right now?
Oh, I don't know. Right now, all I know is we beat Oklahoma State. And so, I mean, you got to play Kansas State here. You got to go to Texas. You got to go to West Virginia, which is a really hard place to play. You got Texas Tech, which is a rivalry game next week. You know, and then you got Iowa State at the end, and you got to go to KU. So, you know, our thing is to get 6. Okay, that's been the beginning of become bowl eligible, and then what can we do from there on? And we get to color some more purple in, which is a big deal to us. Through our years, we've been used to having a lot of purple in that pyramid, and we didn't have very much last year. So, like I said, when you're 4-8, you shouldn't be doing much talking. So.
Are you happy with the improvement in the secondary, man, only giving up the 1 vertical today?
Yeah, well, I knew they weren't a bad secondary. I mean, that secondary shut out Oklahoma in the fourth quarter. I mean, you got to give Baylor a little credit. They got some good players. They get hot. They play well at home. We should have made some of those plays? Yeah. And so, you know, we've got some work to do. They ran the ball a little bit better than what I wanted them to today. I mean, we got a lot of work to do.
I'm surprised were you they didn't pass them on their second game.
It was interesting, but I don't, you know, we were playing some coverages that were not conducive for them to try to throw it over our heads. Same coverages, to be honest with you, that I was playing a week ago on a couple touchdowns. We just played them a lot better. Derek Kindred's interception was one of them. We were too deep over the top. And so, you know, it's the kids. That's why it's my fault. My job to get them in. Yeah.
Does this reaffirm your faith that your definition of good defense can apply in this?
My definition of good defense is 1 less point. In this league, you just find a way to hold them 1 less point. You know, you better have a level of player if you want to talk about being the #1 defense in the nation. Okay, we're not where we need to be there yet. Do we have good players? Yes, but I don't see anybody in the league, because you better have a pass rush you can get there awfully quick, because everybody's got somebody that can go. Everybody's got somebody that can go. So, you know, I'm proud of them. You know, for them to come back and not give up a touchdown pass, any touchdown period. Shows how they were and how they play together. And so, we play better at home. It's, again, the crowd was, and I expect, to be honest with you, the crowd was loud, but I didn't think it was as much energy as there was for Oklahoma, but I'm willing to predict that there'll be a lot of energy for the Texas Tech game. That's what I'll predict. There's going to be a lot of energy for the Texas Tech game. So, and we're going to need it. We got to find a way to win. Get a chance to stay at the top of the conference. I think it's Kansas State's the only team alone right now, right? In the league. That's undefeated in the conference.
Yep.
So, a lot of football left to play.
Coach Josh Dodson had a career game today and 1 yard shy of the single game receiving record. You talked about his impact on the team.
Josh is one of those guys that, is very mature for his mom, works for the university, just very mature for his age. Ever since he got here, he's run great routes, he's blocked, he's tenacious. Team is very important to him. I heard him talk on my radio show the other night about he was a bleacher creature, so when he was younger, he was running across the field, always wanted to wear purple. Those are the kind of, as head coaches, those are the kind of people you want to have on your team. That are part of it. And, a couple of those plays, he's not going to be a guy that's the true burner like a couple of our other guys are, but, he has enough speed, he's deceptive, and he can go up and get the ball. And that's, he's very strong doing that, and he did a couple times today.
Gary, I know you're taking this week by week, but to play those 3 teams to start Big 12 play, how much does that help you evaluate?
Yeah, I want to know who I made mad. I mean, you knew that those 3 teams would be picked at the top. I knew Kansas, the only way they could have been different if you had at least the preseason, if they would have picked Kansas State next week. But Texas Tech keeps improving. They're a better football team than they were at the beginning of the year, and they played West Virginia. Played West Virginia very tough. They won today, and so we got our hands full. We got to get ready to play this week.
Gary, what did you learn about your staff and your players this week and in this game?
Well, nobody flinched. But I think that always has to start. I told them, I said, you can either look around and you can blame people, or we can just roll up our sleeves and do it, and that's what we've done. But that's really what we've always done here at TCU. I mean, we've been through, you can't last 17 years, 14 as a head coach and not outlast some hard times, some close games, some heartbreaks. You go from the highest high of beating Oklahoma to the lowest low of losing like we did last week to coming back and beating Oklahoma State, the 15th ranked team in the nation. Coach does a great job at Oklahoma State with what they play. And so I know I have 4 or 5 guys that are former Oklahoma State guys on my staff that were excited because, it's obviously any time you can play your alma mater, so they were excited. And I was excited for them. And so, but it's, we'd had to go up there twice in a row, and it always was a hard-fought game. They've got a good football team, and they're going to be hard to beat going down the road. So it's, all of us got to get ready to go.
You guys were really able to sustain drives for long periods in the second half. Was that a point of emphasis after the way last game ended?
No, but it was one of the things that we talked about. Still about scoring points. I'll take the amount of points over 2-to-1 possession time any day of the week. But if I can have both, then I'm pretty fired up. If you want to have your cake and eat it too, I don't get that very often.
What do you think of your team's running games?
Late, I thought it was good. Early, it was okay, but we had the one long run touchdown on the 4th down call. I think for us to become what we want to become as a whole football team, we'll have to keep improving our running game. That was the one thing that Baylor was able to do a week ago. But you got to be able to, take the breath out of the clock at some point in time. And sometimes, even in the second quarter, if you just get some first downs, when you go up, you're up 21 to, at the time, I think it was 3, wasn't it? It was 6, it was 9. It would have liked to have gotten some drives where you got that done, but it's, again, beggars can't be choosing. We had 21 points, and then all of a sudden we had 28 points, and that's a big deal to me.
Gary,
talk about just making big plays against this team and limiting them to no big plays, basically.
Well, I think they had the one, but that was an emphasis of us. That's why we changed some stuff with our corners, and then we mixed up some coverages to help ourselves do it. And you start by being able to play the run up front well, and so we were able to do that. You get into situations where they got us a couple times on play action, playing a couple zone blitzes. It was really probably, you could blame me more than you can blame anybody else because it's a tough coverage to play when they're play action. But we were trying to create some stuff up front by blitzing. But it's to see what happened a week ago and then come back and know that these guys have thrown the ball over Florida State, a lot of different people's heads and get ready to play is a tribute to those guys and fighting back. We still got a long way to go. We're not out of the woods, but we're going to keep playing and we're going to keep. I had to go back and be a lot more detailed. I felt like I put too much defensive in for Baylor, and I confused them, and we weren't good at anything. And so I went back and made sure, even on Wednesday night, instead of 11:30 night, it was a 1:45 in the morning night, to make sure that those kind of things don't happen. And so staff did a great job. Coach Beach, those guys on the offensive side did a great job. And you got to find ways to win. And I think the thing that I like most is our kids are enjoying themselves. The one thing that I liked in the Baylor locker room last year, it's been 2 years since I saw that much emotion after a loss. And so, the last time I saw that was 2008 when we lost to Utah in Utah to go to the Sugar Bowl. 12-10, I think, 13-10. And so, this group cares. When you get a group that cares and they play together, then you're gonna have a chance to win football games, and you can stay healthy. And that's the one thing up to this point different than the last 2 years for us. We've stayed healthy, and I think we stayed healthy again today. And so, next time you guys hear some reports out there about surgeries and all those kind of things, call me. I'll help you guys out.
Hey, Gary, did you get a chance to sample the Gatorade in the second half?
No. Again, it was one of those, I want to give those guys confidence. We were trying to hold them to no touchdowns. But it was a little bit easier when I got to 42, I'll say that too.
What did you think of BJ's performance averaging over 10 yards?
Well, I didn't know that, but it was nice to get back over 100 yards as a running back, not as a quarterback doing it. So we're going to have to keep running. We can't run him as much, except on scrambles and doing things. I liked really all the running backs that came in the game. Even Trey Johnson at the end. He's our power back. And, as he keeps progressing, he'll make us a better football team because he can go get those short yards because he's a 230-pound dude. And so it was good watching him run like he did and get fired up about it.
Let's do 2 more questions. From your perspective, did it look like Calon was running with just a little more spark than maybe he had this year?
No, I don't know. I think this whole season he's been running with the ball kind of like he did as a freshman. He was injured his sophomore year, so to me he's been better this season any way you looked at it.
Okay, last question. Okay, thanks, Coach.
Hey, pleasure. Glad you're all here.